So why are we here today?
We're here.
Well, you're leading this, not me.
No, yeah, exactly. Unless you wanted the
No,
other
man.
one.
Fuck it.
Cool.
It's you.
We're here today because it's been a while.
It's been too long.
It's been a while. We're reunited, and MISCHO has some cool projects that I believe, not the world, not North America, the Galactic Federation of Time Travelers, they deserve to know.
They absolutely deserve to know.
My job is to get all that info out of you.
Beautiful. I love it.
And let's have some fun. So, for the people that obviously know you, but what about for the people that don't know you? Tell us a tiny bit about yourself and who you are.
My name is MISCHO, and I make feel-good alt-rock music, powered by the fifth dimension.
I love it.
Yeah.
And you've been in the studio for how long now? I've followed the journey for almost 5 years now since you put out Year One.
Yeah.
Has it been 5 years?
2017.
2017, so pretty close. How many songs was on that album? I'd say about 12?
I think it's 15.
15? 15.
Yeah.
And then you've released EPs here and there with high production videos, super, super cool, building the fan base, almost pivoting from Year One to the Time Travelers now.
Yeah. So you want me to? I'll explain what that transition was. Year One was a collection of songs that was not intended to be an album. It started with the song "Listen," and when "Listen" came out, I was still working for the company I was working for, and I had this demo. And one of the guys we hired heard the demo, and he said, "Hey, maybe you should go meet these producers because you could really blow up this production because it's a good song." So I said, "Sure." So I was introduced to the Lost Boys. Dave and Antoine, and we just started recording. So after the first song was done, I was like, well, I got another one. And then we did that one, and they said, I got another one, and another one, and another one, and a year went by, and there were like 15 songs. And I said, you know what, let's just make an album. There was no intention at that point for me to pursue the artistic lifestyle, or to be an artist. Yeah. I was a CEO of a business. I had employees. There was no plan for me to do that. This was purely out of love. But during that time, I was changing my lifestyle. I wasn't going out as much. I wasn't partying as much. I kind of took myself out of the environment that I was in, and I was in solitude a lot. So there was a lot of reflection. There was a lot of learning. And I was putting that all into the music. So Year One was really the transition from the high octane, maybe ego-driven lifestyle to a more introspective version of myself that was way more like the early days. And when I say early days, I mean like when I was a kid. So I relate much more to myself how I was when I was young than how I am right now, or than how I was during those years. So that's Year One essentially. And we shot some music videos. We had some fun with Stephen Ward, shout out. And we put out Come Around Back to You, super fun video with the Goonies and X-Files, and we put my mouth on it, blah, blah, blah. And the album came out. And it did pretty well. And I was like, okay, I'll just keep making music. I had no intention of stopping. There was no plan, there was no strategy, there was nothing. So recorded some more songs, and I wanted to take the sonic landscape a little different. I didn't want to just, plug in the guitar and make guitar-driven songs because it seemed like the most natural way to go. So I said, if the songs are strong and acoustic, let's just experiment with sounds. So that was Tuesday Night, a 6-song EP plus The Machine. And still then, I wasn't committed to actually doing this. I was just committed to making music that I put my heart and soul into.
Yeah.
At that time, I was working with some people that I met in the record industry who were helping me, guide the process, and that was super interesting. And I just kept putting out music. Nonstop. But like I said, I wasn't really committed to actually doing that. I had other things going on. And then the further I went, the more I realized I don't want to do that other thing. I want to do this. I want to do this with my life. I want to commit to it. So I started writing songs to kind of project how I want to feel versus how I was feeling. So rather than listening to these songs over and over and making me relive those, questioning myself, what the hell am I doing here? Why not just write songs that like power me up, that are almost like affirmations. the newer songs that are coming out are like even more like that. But this album is just high vibe. It feels like Red Bull. It feels like positive Red Bull. So, yeah, that's where we're at. But
so going back to, because year one, which by the way to me symbolizes really youth, and I think even the album cover, right? It's a picture of you as a kid.
yeah,
Right? So it really represents youth. I think to me that album is very timeless. Like the songs are still very timeless. They'll still be good in 5 years, and I'm sure they'll be part of your set moving forward as well.
totally.
There are some artists that once they pass the album, they don't want to play anything of the old stuff. That's not the case with you, correct?
I think so.
Yeah, for now.
For now.
And then would it be safe to say that Tuesday Night was more of a darker tone?
It definitely was.
Okay, is that because something happened, the situation? Was it was written during COVID? I don't think that had anything to do with it.
Tuesday Night was way before COVID.
Okay.
Way before.
Yeah,
Microchip was released during COVID.
Got it, yeah.
But no, Tuesday Night was, I guess I had sold the business.
Yeah, okay.
And then I was in solitude, I guess just like a lot of solitude, and kind of looking for what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I was searching, and that's what Tuesday Night is really about.
6-song EP about Tuesday Night, and then now how many songs are going to be on this new album?
It's going to be 11 or 12.
Nice. So going back to kind of the OG format, and do you want to talk a bit about some of the, because I've heard some of the songs and it's very different than Tuesday Night. Like we mentioned before, they're high vibes. They're more positive.
Way more, yeah.
And they're fun. And normally artists, they don't all do that. Some of them have different strategies. Some of them go in and just make music and hope that people like it. For you, when we discussed a tiny bit, you said there was a strategy to this with the producer and the songwriter. This album, correct me if I'm wrong, is meant to be played in stadiums, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so do you want to, maybe elaborate a tiny bit on that?
Yeah, I didn't want to make depressing music. The songs were meant to pump you up. The songs were meant to make you feel like you could do stuff. They make you feel like you can accomplish anything you want. I didn't want to write depressive songs. I wanted to write bangers that can be played in a stadium. Nice.
Any particular songs that stand out in terms of that really fits that purpose and that mold?
Well, the next single is a song that really fits that mold. And it was a song that was co-written with a dear friend of mine who's now in the fifth dimension, Max Parenchio, the Pelican Boy. And we were connected in the Tuesday Night era. And we just started writing songs together. Yeah. And he said, he had this wild energy. And he said, man, you have these great lyrics, but you need these big choruses. You need to have this fucking energy. And he said, let's write a song that goes like this. This is a tempo I haven't heard from you. Okay. I'm like, all right. And we just started playing chords. And then, da-na-na-na-na, down for you. And there was an intention in that. And I was at the point in time where I didn't want to write those depressing songs, and he wanted to write mega choruses. He saw MISCHO, and he saw that it was missing anthemic choruses. And so he almost pushed me out of my comfort zone into reaching for bigger. And so that was the song, Down For You, that was written so easily. It was so natural. And it didn't even really matter what we were singing about, as long as the overall vibe made you feel good. There's a soaring guitar solo. It's about being, aware of yourself and your shortcomings, but having someone that pumps you up. And that song initially was written about my brother.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah. In the bridge, I say, beat down, I'll take it. Down for you. That's how I broke my nose.
Oh,
it's my brother was shooting his mouth off at a bar like 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I went in to defend him, and I got headbutted. And it's just one of those things. So that's
so ironic. I for sure thought it was about a girl, because typically that's where you go. Down for you. I mean, probably can still be.
No, Down for you is about my brother. Yeah, it's about my brother. So is Come Around Back to You.
Wow.
Why don't we fight? That line from Come Around Back to You.
Yeah.
We don't fight.
Okay.
And I wanted to write a song that reminded us of Arizona, and we're all going back to Arizona. So back to Down For You. That was the first song I wrote with the Pelican, and it was like right out of the gate, I'm like, this is what I want to do. I want to write big songs. So every subsequent song that I wrote after that was, I want to make myself feel really good. when I listen back to these songs, I don't want to get depressed. I don't want to get into that loop. I want to create a new timeline. So when people are listening to these songs on this album, I want them to feel like it's sparking them. I want them to feel like they can soar.
Yeah.
Like I wrote these songs for stadiums, not because I'm going to play them in my bedroom. I want to play in stadiums. Yeah. And I have no idea how, but the Galactic Federation of Time Travelers, that's the name that I give the fan base, they're going to lead me there.
So why time travelers?
Why time travelers? Because I saw time travel as looking at time as your friend. Most people look at time and they dread it.
Yeah.
They're running out of time. But that's only if you're time looping. If you're doing the same thing every day and watching the clock, then time is your enemy. But if you can do a little bit every day to go get out of your comfort zone, to go closer to where you want to go or the person you want to become, then you're time traveling. It's like perspective growth over time. And so time travelers, it seems nuts, it seems bananas. I love sci-fi. So why not call the crew the Galactic Federation of Time Travelers? And that's something that maybe spawned from the Pelican as well, because he was so over the top. And he said, like, you got to put stuff out that people can chirp you about, that people think is crazy or controversial. So it's like, say you're the best musician or best artist in the world. I'm like, fuck it, best artist in the galaxy. So the Galactic Federation of Time Travelers. And really the time travelers are, I really feel like the people who will connect with the music and do connect in the music are on the same frequency, right? That's what I think
they're vibing.
They're vibing. Their frequency is a direct reflection of their algorithm. And so for the people who don't like it, I just don't vibe with them. Just like the music that I listen to that I don't like, it's not because it's crap. It's just like there's no algorithmic frequency match.
Amazing. And you think a lot of people are going to vibe with this new album? And
well, I think there's a lot of people like me out there, a lot of time travelers, a lot of people with a lot of potential who are stuck in their own heads. And those are the people that I'm talking to. Those are the time travelers. And so if I can, spark that fire and show them that some guy who, ran a business and was totally out of shape 5 years ago can go out and make a music career, that they can do anything they want to. And that's time travel. It's creating a new timeline.
Nice. Back to Down For You, maybe more on specifics of the song. I know there's I guess as much as shredding as there's going to be in MISCHO album, I guess, and there's a nice solo in there.
Yeah, there's a nice solo, and it's not something. It's almost comical.
Yeah. How
simple it is. It's anybody can play it. And one thing, when I grew up, I love to play solos that I can actually comprehend. Like when I heard a song like "Damn It" by Blink-182, and I heard the riff, I'm like, I can learn that because I understand that it's simple.
Yeah.
But I'm no shredder by any means, and it's almost laughable that the solo is so big but so simple that if you play guitar for like 10 days, you could probably play that solo.
Yeah.
But it feels good, and it's all about the soul. It's not about the complications. People worry about complicating things. If you can put your soul into something, it can be as easy as possible.
Nice. So is that kind of on its own, or is that pretty much going to be the vibe, like high, fast beat of the album, or there's a mix?
There's a mix. There's a mix. I'm not, punk beats, not really into that too much.
Yeah.
The beat just really has to go with wherever the rhythm of the acoustic version goes, you know? Because initially it starts with some kind of acoustic thing and it just takes off, and we just capture the tempo of whatever that is. But a couple of songs like It's a Vibe were based off of Biggie. So another thing that the Pelican taught me, or a music hack, was write a song over a beat that you love. So we listened to Going Back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali. And we were in Cali and we were writing the song. And so the beat of It's a Vibe is Going Back to Cali. So we wrote a song on top of that. So it's just another way of writing music that gets you in a vibe. So I say vibe a lot, but vibe is everything. Nikola Tesla, right? Everything is frequency, vibration, and one other thing that I forget. But it's probably related to vibe. But yeah, so should we go back to Down For You or the album? Or
No,
what?
It's good. I mean, maybe the writing process of the album. I know, for the people that don't know, yes, we are in the universe and the galaxy. Sometimes you travel to the fifth dimension, but most of the time you're here in Montreal. And for the album, you were specifically in LA. You were there for almost, a year and a half recording
Yeah, well,
songs?
half the songs were recorded, or a quarter of the songs were recorded in LA. The other ones were recorded in Montreal.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you got a couple of songs in LA, including Down For You. So
The Down For You, It's a Vibe, Magic, Christmas in Space was recorded there. That's not on the album. That's just comes out every Christmas.
nice. Yeah, maybe talk to us in terms of, are there any other songs on the album that are completely different that have kind of that same purpose?
I'd say Coffee on the Moon,
Okay.
which is going to be the album opener.
Okay.
It's, I want to know what Mars is like in June. I want to have coffee on the moon. And I'm using all these space metaphors to really explain that, like, I want to see things that I've never seen before. I want to see things that I couldn't even imagine. Yeah. So it's just setting me up in this mindset where anything is possible. And like starting the album with this big, massive chorus, because the song has a short little intro, goes right into the chorus. The song is just about thinking bigger. It's about thinking beyond our limitations or thinking beyond our paradigm. So that's Coffee on the Moon. Down For You, it's just the feeling. The feeling is just, it accomplishes that. Magic is about literally speaking to our younger selves and speaking to that kid who's scared, because time travel is also speaking to people who are like me.
Yeah.
And telling them that, what you're going through, it's okay, it's normal. I believe in you, you believe in me, I believe in magic.
Are there any influences musically that came from this album?
I don't really, I'm not sure really. There's always the, I guess, Oasis influence, but I don't really listen to much. I'm always recording and always listening to my own mixes and always listening to mixes and stems and all that stuff that I don't really spend that much time listening to anything other than myself. So the influences are the 90s influences, the stuff that I listened to when I was a kid. So Nirvana, Blink, Weezer. A little later I was listening to the Beatles, Metallica, whatever it was. Also Backstreet Boys, Ace of Base. Yeah. Britney Spears, because I'm a sucker for grungy guitars and really tight melodies and song structures. Because my songs I try to write them as catchy as possible, but also as intense as possible. And so that's always the DNA of the music. So I don't really think, I want to take this sound. Because now we've gotten to the point where there's these guitar tones and these synth sounds that we're using from other songs in our current songs. Yeah. So we're like sampling ourselves, which is fun.
And so speaking of kind of sounds and tones, I'd say for almost 10 to 15 years, your weapon of choice was a gold Gibson Les Paul, correct? You played that?
Yeah, that was my dream guitar when I was 15 years old.
Yeah. Maybe talk about how you acquired that guitar, because it's pretty punk rock story, and then we'll transition into you no longer really play that guitar. It's a different tone. Even for year one, you switched to more of a surfy vibe, right? You wanted a different tone.
Yeah. The Fender Jaguar tone, I love the really hot single coil pickup that just sounds explosive and unhinged. Yeah. And I really feel, the humbucker and the Les Paul was, I don't know, too consistent. I didn't like the sound. I wanted a sound that was surfier, that was wilder, that was more jangly. But how I acquired that Les Paul when I was 15, I asked my dad for it. I said, "Hey, Dad." I never had to ask my dad for shit. My brother would ask my dad for everything and he would get everything. But I was too self-aware, I guess. I just never wanted to ask. I didn't feel like I deserved anything. Yeah. So I said, "Hey, can I have this guitar?" He said, "How much does it cost?" I said, like $2,000 or $3,000. He said, "Yeah, absolutely. You can get it after you earn it. So go to work in the warehouse," because he had a company and he made garage door openers, and he's like, "Yeah, go work in the warehouse. So, clean bearings, make the machines, and work up to $3,000, and then I'll buy you the guitar." And that's what I did. So I think it was 14 or 15.
That's crazy. And just, I guess it really shows your personality as well, because I'd say 90% of everyone else would be, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll get the $300 guitar to start, 400, but no, you had your mindset on that goal.
Well, I didn't even consider getting something else. Wow. It didn't even cross my mind. It wasn't an option. Wow. I had like a $120 Squire Fender. Yeah. And that's what I was playing. It sounded horrible. I think, I don't know, it was always like, ringing, crazy feedback. The amp was shit. It just was, and I was not very good either. But I love that guitar. I got it because, Derek
Slash?
from Sum 41
okay,
had
I
it,
thought it would
and
be
Slash
okay, nice.
thought it was a cool guitar.
Yeah.
Tom DeLonge had that in the Dude Ranch era.
Okay.
But as I got older, I wanted to experiment with different tones. I fell in love with the Fender Jaguar.
Yeah.
And the Jaguar sound was just super cool. It was super different. And that's what I've stuck to. I love the shape. I love the body.
Nice.
I love the tiny, small neck because I have this really old Jag.
Yeah. And even in year one, there was a couple solos and even riffs that, had that, I don't know if it's the right term, phalange kind of surfy feel. You kind of moved away from that in this album, correct?
Yeah, it wasn't something that I thought about.
Yeah.
It just happened. I guess I just grew out of the surf riff phase. I do like, Come Around Back to You or in Cool. I like to do those heavily distorted kind of 80s Depeche Mode or whatever kind of tones.
Yeah.
But the Fender Jag is my jam.
Like growing up, like you mentioned Derek, you mentioned Slash, like that's what it's all about. Like what guitars, what amps do they use?
Yeah.
And so moving away from the Gibson to the Jaguar, and now you've managed to kind of create your own guitar.
My own guitar.
You want to talk about it? And I guess this is the piece, One of One.
One of One. So this beautiful guitar was made by Montreal Guitar. Luckily, they put picks in the case because I forgot to bring a pick today. There it is. Montreal Guitar. And I wanted to have a super simplified Jag. Normally Jaguar has like all kinds of knobs and switches. And even though I had it for 5 years, my Jag, I had no idea what they did. I just had it on one setting. And so I love
it looks so good.
Yeah, I love the one pickup.
Yeah.
It's actually a Jaguar pickup with a Jazzmaster cover on it. So it has that Jaguar feel. But also, there are no knobs. Like the Tom DeLonge, because Tom DeLonge was like my idol forever. He's still my idol. I love the guy. And he had one knob and a pickup, and one pickup only. And it was like amazing. It was so minimalist, and I was so pumped up for that. But I said, if I'm gonna make my own guitar, I'm gonna have it more. I have to go one above Tom. So he has one knob. Whoops, no knobs for me. So as you can see, this is completely flat. It looks like almost a Guitar Hero guitar. It looks like it's unreal. So how do I control the volume? We have a sneaky volume knob over here. So this bad boy is. It's a little tough to get to, but you get used to it. And it looks like a cartoon. And I said, you know what? I want to create my own brand. I want to create my own world. I don't want to do what the average player does. Like it's super cool to have a really rugged looking, used up, vintagey Jaguar guitar. So I said, I'm going to get a super clean cut guitar that only I have. That's white and has this like black outline. So it almost looks like a cartoon. And that's what I went with. It took like almost a year to make because like parts were back ordered, and Montreal Guitar does a real nice job of being perfect. But yeah, I wanted to create my own guitar.
I think that's what you've done super well, and it keeps building, starting with the Time Traveler is different than year one. Now everything is kind of matching the outfits. You have your own merch, the signature shoes, the guitar. Obviously you want this to really blow up. So kind of what is the next step in terms of the vision of the brand?
Well, the brand is really important because before there was no brand. Yeah. There was no I was just putting out music, right? I was putting out music and there was no strategy. But I came from the business world. I love business. I love art. I love brands. And I just ended up reading a lot of books about branding and marketing. And really all they say is you got to be unapologetically yourself. And you got to do something that someone else doesn't do. Yeah. And you got to do something that either people love it or they hate it. If you're in the middle, you speak to no one. You're just blah. And during the time of year one and Tuesday night, in terms of brand, in terms of not what I stood for, but visually, I just looked like anybody else. Sure, I'm not wearing the tracksuit now, the Galactic Federation of Time Travelers jacket. I'm wearing the t-shirt. I'm wearing the green pants. I'm wearing the shoes. But I just wanted to look a certain way where it's people will be like, this looks weird. This is a weird vibe. This looks different. And the brand for me is everything, because as we grow the Galactic Federation of Time Travelers, which is you guys, the fans, then it's going to create more opportunity. I'm not really going after a record label, for example. I want to be able to build this independently, and I want it to be financed and funded by the fans. So I want to create amazing stuff for them.
Yeah.
I want to create tracksuits. I want to have the guitars. I want to do everything. I want them to finance the music videos, because I will be providing value and they're going to provide value. And it's going to be this beautiful relationship back and forth, a real honest, open relationship. And that's why I'm just putting out as much as possible my story of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because just putting out music and looking like a cool dude is not enough to do anything. Yeah.
And so no, I think the message has resonated. If you look at some of the people that have interacted with your videos, with your content, I mean, how did you first react when you had fans in Argentina, in Ukraine, in Russia, in Europe, everywhere, even in Asia? Was that kind of surreal moment for you, or was it I always knew this was?
I don't know if it was surreal, but it's just I always knew that this music was real.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew that I wasn't creating music for any reasons other than putting my soul into it. Yeah. And seeing all those people around the world light up to the music just tells me that I'm on the right path. It's keep going, find more of them, talk to them, put out stuff that they're gonna love. Because if there's that kind of feedback on this scale now, imagine what it's like when it blows up. And it's so exciting to be rewarded for the work you're doing. I make the music and I love being in the studio. I love collaborating with producers and whoever's recording with me. Nice. But there's also the component, if I want to keep doing this on a real scale, I have to be able to build a fan base and go on tour and sell things, or else this machine won't turn.
Yeah.
And so that's the most important thing, is that, quite simply, are the people relating to the music? And it's yes.
Got it. Maybe talk to us a bit about, you mentioned, you love being in the studio. What does that typically look like? You go into the studio, are there some days where it's completely chalked, nothing productive came out of it? Do you usually come to the studio prepared with all your songs before, or it's you go in studio and you try to let as much magic happen?
Yeah, so I always want to leave room for magic to happen. So let's say I do have a song prepared.
Yeah.
I don't demo it. I don't create sounds for it. I just have it on acoustic. And then the magic really happens on building on top of that frame. And if I come in, earlier on when I was recording, I'd have these sounds, these presets, these loops, and we go in and it would limit us. It would limit the creation and the involvement of the producers and everyone in the room. If something comes in and it's fully fleshed out, they don't really care as much. So I want to come in as raw as possible so that we can really let it go where it wants to go. I'd say half the time I have a song prepared, maybe 3/4 of the time, and the rest of the time we just go in with nothing and just come out with something. And that's Come Around Back to You. There was nothing prepared other than I wanted to write a song that reminded me of my youth growing up in Arizona.
Okay, got it.
Summers in Arizona. And so Come Around Back to You came out of that. And yeah.
For people that don't know, on top of doing the music, you're a huge, student of the human body, and where did that kind of interest or intrigue come from, in terms of always wanting to learn how the world works and how kind of the human mechanism or machine works?
Well, as soon as I unplugged myself from getting drunk 5 days a week,
yeah.
I started asking questions. I started thinking and looking around and really reminding myself of my youth. I said earlier on, as I've matured and got older and become more disciplined or less inclined to conform with society, I'm feeling more like I did when I was a kid, except with more wisdom. All that to say is, when I was a kid, I was really always questioning. I always wanted to understand how things work. And having kind of an artist brain, I'm super sensitive. I feel, I guess, more than other people or the average person feels. So in order for me to feel good, I wanted to figure out what I could do for my body to make my brain feel as good as possible. And so I was always athletic growing up, and it started with, going to the gym. And then I wanted to, get ripped. So I started learning about nutrition, and then you start learning on, carbs, proteins, and fats, and the basic macro stuff. But then you start diving deeper and going into how things function, and proper rest and sleep and meditation and affirmation. And it's just like, it's really become my practice. The only way that I'm able to think and believe that I can actually tour the world and play stadiums is if I keep my mind in check. Because if I'm eating like shit and I'm going out late and I'm not sleeping well and I'm not taking care of myself, this voice in my head tells me that I can't do it. This voice in my head doesn't even let me believe that I can do it. So in order for me to really be free from the human condition, I have to earn it every day. I have to do my best to treat my body like a temple so that I can have these insane beliefs that people would think I'm like insane. Like, what makes you think that you can be an artist? What makes you think that you can make a living doing this? And I look at all the greats or all the people who have accomplished great things, and they've all focused inwardly. They've all the people I look up to think about these things. They think about their body and mind connection. That's where the time travel logo comes from. It's your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. And when they're aligned, you can time travel. You can enter a new timeline.
Got it. So on top of this rebranding, I'm assuming you add a lot of Easter eggs, or there's a lot of that component of learning about yourself included in the songs and the branding and.
Yeah. So the inner dialogue, that was on year one. That's been from the start. So from the start, I would have these songs that I would question my reality and then find a positive at the end. There was always a journey. Now the songs are less about the journey and they're more about like just focusing on the fun part, just focusing on the good part. But in terms of the rebranding was not just like a logo and some colors. The rebrand from Mick to MISCHO was me embracing who I really was. So I don't think like the average person. The average person might think I'm crazy, but that's okay. The people I look up to, everyone thought they were crazy until they fucking made it. And so this is just the physical manifestation of my imagination focused on one thing and focused on this idea of creating music that is a tool, a vitamin for the soul, a protein for your self-esteem. It's a fun thing that can expand into a universe. Like I'm thinking about, this time travel universe, the Galactic Federation of Time Travelers, as a comic book, as a movie franchise, as a TV show, as a like an audio comic. Like really it can expand to anything, into clothes, into whatever. But it all stems from the core of we are time travelers. If we understand how our vessel works and how much power we have, we can accomplish so much. We can fucking alter reality. It sounds like the WeWork lunatics, but I actually believe it.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And I think obviously there's, millions and millions of time travelers out there. So
there's absolutely. I say this stat all the time. Yeah. Oftentimes, like for people like me, it's hard to connect or find people who think like I do. That's because let's just say 1% of people think like I do. You're not just going to run into them. So you have to put yourself out there, or else you'll never have the opportunity. So that's why I'm being so open about all this stuff, is because the only way I'm going to find it is by putting it out. And the music does that, right? The music is the vibrational tool. But the stat that I'm talking about is 1% doesn't sound like a lot, but that's like 80 million people on the planet. So there's a shitload of time travelers out there. And I don't understand the full truth of reality. I do know that we know almost nothing. I do know that in 100 years from now, humans are going to look back and be like, oh my God, look how naive, look how misinformed humans were. But I have these general ideas that have been working for me. And while they're not proven in science yet, they're starting to prove themselves. I rather focus on creating this Galactic Federation of Time Traveler like world, this like Star Wars, the Force, the fifth dimension, the Force, the good, the evil, the midichlorians, the microbiome. To me, it's all the same. So I don't know the truth, but I'll put it in art. And that's what I want to do. So when people come to the shows, I want them to be part of this crazy thing that by the time they leave, they feel powered up, and they're going to go be an antenna that just like soups up their entire life and their family and everyone around.
There's, part of the theory is putting things into the universe and see how, people and time travelers react. Does it ever happen to you? It's happened to some artists as well, where they didn't think this was the song that was going to blow up. So, for example, Blink-182, All the Small Things, right? It gets played in playoff songs. I mean,
you showed me that video the other day. It's amazing.
In the arenas, and Tom always talks about, it's the most simplest song ever. It's probably his least favorite to play and things like that. Does that ever happen to you? Like people come up to you and like, hey, I love this song, and you're like, really? Out of all the songs, this is the one that people like?
I think Flowers is one of those songs. A lot of people say they love Flowers.
Yeah, unequivocally. I mean, I've spoken to at least 50 time travelers, and that would be top 2 in most people. You never know which one's gonna hit and which one's not gonna hit. Like I haven't had billion stream songs, not yet. But you never really know what's gonna pop. So you just have to continuously put out. You just put stuff out, and whatever happens. Yeah. But then on that note of simplicity, I write songs as simply as possible. Like my current songs that I'm writing now that will be on the next album are even simpler. Like the ethos in my head is, I want to put out a song that within the first 30 seconds, you'll be able to sing the whole song. Less is more. People don't have time for stories. Yeah. Maybe they do, but I don't want to do that. Because I understand that there's so much information in the feeling and emotion and the vibe of the song that if I can just create a positive mantra that you just singing over this catchy hook, that's all I care about. Simple is key. If you can't explain or express something simply, it means you don't fully get it. Yeah. And there's always exceptions. There's like crazy like metal bands, speed metal bands that like their thing is complexity. Yeah. My thing is simplicity. I want to make it as simple as possible. I want you to be able to play my song. There's only one chord progression. There's only 5 words in the entire thing. The hook just repeats the whole song. I don't care. I want it to be as simple as possible. Nice. Sparked an idea. You should have all the fans record them singing specific chorus and send it back. Just because.
A specific chorus?
Yeah, or specific chorus.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And then throw them on as gang vocals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the phone mics are so good now that's good. Yeah. They just have to sing in time.
Has that happened? Do people send themselves like playing drums, guitar, singing?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those. Like people make acoustic covers and they're jamming on electric. I love that. I love seeing.
Feel weird, especially that.
That I love the most. Yeah. That is just unreal. It's the best feeling ever seen. Like people are jamming my song. Yeah. I love that. Someone made a lyric video in Spanish of "It'll Work Out," and I'm like, whoa. No way. Like, I love that stuff. I love seeing people. And then I saw that they made I think they did It's a Vibe, or they did Cool. I'm not sure what they did, but seeing just people do it is unbelievable. Because I stopped believing in the logical approach of you have to do step 1, then step 2, then step 3, then step 4. I know that the intention behind the music is really pure, and it will impact people and affect people in a certain way, where I don't have to worry about all this like 3D bullshit. The 5D is going to work out in my favor because I'm putting so much love and good intention into it that I know it'll be amazing. Nice.
I know you do lives from time to time, and it's always good. I'd say that's one of the best avenues for the time travelers to interact with you. They get to request songs, they get to chirp, they get to laugh, they get to...
Yeah, Tuesday nights I do lives on Instagram, and sometimes when I'm feeling it, I'll just randomly come on. Yeah. But that's always nice when they're requesting songs and they're like, play The Machine or play Listen. Someone requested Listen the other day. I'm like, what?
I see. It's the first song. It's
Yeah, but they don't know it's the first song. Yeah. But the streams keep going on the old songs. It's like they don't stop. I think is year 1 almost at 1 million streams like combined, which is pretty cool because, and it's growing. Like the Spotify is so great with giving me analytics. Everything's just growing, everything is consistently growing. I'm putting out a song every 6 weeks, and it's really exciting.
Nice. Do you have any favorite songs?
Favorite songs? Yeah. I love Magic. that's on this new album. I love all the songs really because I'm making music that I would listen to. I'm making music now that it has this like almost like nutritional approach to it. But songs that I love, Cool. I love The Machine. The Machine hits like insane. I love The Machine. That riff, it's just this haunting thing. I don't know. What's your favorite song?
I mean, to me, I have my personal favorites. Listen, for sure, because it's the first one. I think people love to tie, songs to nostalgia. And to me, Listen, it's all about taking the leap, which is kind of my catchphrase and my thing.
That is your catchphrase.
And Listen was for sure first song.
Here, let's play it.
Yeah, that helped most people take the leap. And then I like Magic as well, which people will.
So Listen was. Love that riff. But if you, that's Listen. The Machine is this. And I love doing that shape.
Yeah.
Because it gives you this I don't know, strange feeling, this melancholy, dark feeling.
Yeah.
All That Time Away is. It's all the same chords. But Down For You. Are there any classic riffs? Classic MISCHO riffs? What was the Come Around Back to You? Photon Love had a really cool riff, but I love simple riffs, and that's a reason that I don't make simple riffs for the fact that people can play along, but I think that's a cool feature of the music because I oftentimes get people asking me for tabs and chords and all that stuff, and it's just like really simple stuff, really simple, and I find it approachable. When the songs are simple to play, the person, the kid, the younger version of me listening to it, listens to it and they can play it for themselves. And I think that connects them to the music even more. Because you used to play guitar too.
Yeah, absolutely.
We always want to learn that cool riff.
Yeah.
So that's this beautiful guitar. And the riffs.
Cool riffs. Overall theme, correct me if I'm wrong, it's all about going for it, correct?
Yes, absolutely about going for it. It's about taking the leap like you say.
So for people that don't know, you sold your old business, and then because you wanted to pursue music, I'm sure there was some voices inside your head, no pun intended, that was like, hey, maybe don't do that. Kind of what's your perspective now that it's, a couple of years removed? It's like, what are you looking for next, really? It's just having fun, or?
I never really committed until now.
Okay.
Right, I was making the music, but I was hiding behind, like investing on the side and doing this on the side and having side gigs and not saying I'm an artist, not proudly saying, no, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
I haven't said that until like really recently. And it dawned on me, I got to take the fucking leap here. Because if I'm focused on 5 things or 10 things, I'm going to advance really slowly. And the people who had a singular focus, they all achieved great things. Every time in my life that I focused completely, like when I focused on the business and I put everything else aside, it led me to a place that I couldn't imagine. There was no intention of selling that business. There was just an intention. My goal at that time, make this a great business. And it led me to selling it. I couldn't have imagined that. When I committed to my health, I had no idea where that was going to lead me, but that led me into believing that I could become an artist because I developed this confidence and this self-esteem because my vessel was clear. And it allowed me to understand that the thoughts that say I can't do it are bullshit. They use logic, they use whatever IQ level you have, but they're bullshit. And it should just be seen as an alarm to, oh, did you sleep like shit last night? Have you been eating like crap? What have you been doing? You got to silence that shit. And now I know that I'm going to commit. I have committed to making music. And so where is that going to lead me? I have no idea. Will it lead me to stadiums, or will it lead me to making songs for movies? Like, I have no clue. Or will it lead me to being an announcer on TV with Bob Menery? Yeah. I have no fucking clue. Yeah. But what I do know is that when I commit, I move forward. Nice. I've committed to Eula, Sweet Yule. Yeah. That's my lady. Yeah. A bunch of the songs in the new album are about her. And speaking of Sweet Yule, one of the songs, Weird, I wrote this song called Weird that's going to be on the album, and I wrote a verse for a girl to sing on. I didn't know who was going to sing on it. Nice. And the song was really about taking things slow, not overthinking it. Let's just see where it goes. Let's not have too many expectations. And I have no idea where the lyrical content came from. But about 5 days after I wrote the song, I realized that Eula moved into town. And we got together and went for a walk. And she was humming my songs because she was the #1 fan on SoundCloud. Wow. Like, literally her name is on SoundCloud and like has the most streams. So she was singing Come Around Back to You. And I said, holy shit, you can carry a tune. So I said, I wrote this song with a verse for a girl. Do you want to sing on it? She's like, sure. She's like, when? I'm like, tomorrow. She's like, what? Nice. And that was it. But if you listen back in that song, it's like exactly the first 6 months of our relationship, but like it predicted it almost. So I don't know where I was going with that, but it's committing. So committing to Sweet Yule has allowed me to have a focus and a responsibility that doesn't leave my mind clouded and dipping in places, dipping my toes where they shouldn't be. Yeah. So it's keeping me on track. Committing to the music is leading to this interview right now. It's not saying, oh, I'm going to like check the markets today. I'll be watching crypto videos and all that stuff. No. I'm here to pump up the world. Watching, thinking about investments is not going to allow me to be of service to the planet and spark those flames. So I'm committing. Where does it lead? I don't know. Very cool. If it leads me straight into a brick wall, who cares? I'm committing. Absolutely. I think that's interesting part about saying I'm an artist. I think it's about identity and confidence and, you really find your fit. What was kind of holding you back from, committing to I'm an artist, I'm a musician, more than a musician? It was fear. Okay. I realized it was completely fear. I realized that I wasn't able to boldly say I was an artist because I didn't see myself as a deserving, successful artist. I didn't feel like I had enough stats or enough numbers. Yeah. So I said, oh no, like I make music, but I invest, I do this, I sold my business. Like I'm an investor, I do music on the side. That's just fear. And I realized like, fuck, step up, man. Take a leap. You're the one who always said take the leap. Yeah. You tell me to take the leap, I tell you to take the leap. And I just realized that fear was holding me back. It's like fully commit. And I know that whatever I input or whatever I focus my mind on, this machine wants more of what we give it. So if I give it 15 things, it's going to want more of 15 things. So the internal compass here is all over the place. But if I focus on one thing, it's going to lead me closer to that one thing. I love it. So for the next 70 years, you're going to be fucking doing this. You're committing. Yeah. Well, the whole idea was, this is the only thing that really brings me joy. Yeah. Is to make music and to talk to people and interact with people. Like being here in the studio and talking to you guys and just like, saying jokes and chirping everybody and having a good time. That's what brings me joy. Sitting at home on my computer brings me absolutely no joy. And I realized that I have to be one with the universe and meditate and do all that shit when I'm constantly not doing what I'm supposed to do. But if I get to go around and talk to people and learn about them and hear their stories and tell them maybe perspective they're not seeing of how awesome they are, that's my energy. Yeah. That's my source of energy. Yeah. And the music is the vehicle to be able to do that. Absolutely. That's cool. No, I think a lot of the new songs, people will love it, especially the Time Travelers, because it's filled with good intentions and good vibrations. So. Yeah, and the way I write songs now is usually there's a title. Like I start with a title, and then let's just build on the title. Like one catchphrase. I did that way back in the day. And just using a catchphrase that you really believe in, that you want to repeat, almost like a mantra, almost like a positive affirmation. Yeah. Like the songs that are coming, after this album, like It's All Good, I Belong, or We Belong. What else is there? There's It's All Good, I Belong. There's another one.
Your Vibration.
Yeah, Your Vibration. They should all be positive. It'll Work Out. Yeah. And It'll Work Out is doing far better than any of my songs that came before it. Obviously, because the fans are compounding, there's good growth. But It'll Work Out is just like a tune about saying, I don't know how it's going to work out, but it will work out. It does work out.
For sure. A lot of people wake up stressed, so listen to that and it'll be okay.
Yeah. I understand that people have stressful lives. I understand that people have hard lives. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to perhaps be someone who can bring a little joy or bring a little levity to their life. Because I'm in a particular situation, and I should take that to my full advantage to be able to inspire people and pump them up, or at the very least, just make them feel good for a temporary amount of time. Because people have hard lives. They're maybe not aware of the voice in their head, or they're born in a situation that's like totally fucked, that they have no ability to get out of. But if I can infuse a little positivity, then maybe it'll spark making a left when they should have taken a right, and leads them to another place. Because I could have never imagined 10 years ago that I'd be sitting here right now talking about this. Wow. No fucking way in hell.
Where will you be in 10 years from now?
I have no idea. And I don't want to know. Because if I can see exactly where I'll be 10 years from now, then there's like no room for magic. Then there's a lot of expectations. And with a lot of expectations comes a lot of disappointment. And that's, I try not to have too many expectations. I know what I want to do. I want to make great music. I want to put it out. I want to pump people up. It's very simple. And if I can keep doing that and put out the vibration through the camera, through the music, through whatever, that's good for me. And I know that it'll work out.
Would you say hands down, it's going to be the best album?
It'll be the best album currently. It'll be the best album that I put out to date, for sure. What do you mean, like in the world?
Yeah. Or even the best MISCHO album so far.
Yeah, it'll be the best MISCHO album so far. Yeah, because it's the evolution, but it's infused with this positivity, this vision of the future that you can have. And fucking right. I think I'm in a minority of people who are actively trying to infuse positivity, because most musicians are successful because they're relatable, and they're putting their heart and soul in it, not discounting anyone. But I came to the realization that if I'm putting out like my struggle and people are hearing the struggle, then they're absorbing the struggle. It's like no different than watching the news. You're watching this thing and then you're absorbing all that stuff, or you live with your parents and you're hearing their negativity, and then the decisions you make are through their filter and you don't even realize it. I'm like, fuck that. I want to make a CD. I want to make an album. CD. I want to make a CD. I want to make an album of songs that does the opposite of that. That the main purpose is to put out something that you don't relate to, is to put out a song or music that creates a new paradigm for yourself, that can possibly take you into another place. Yeah. So rather than, building on the feedback loop, I don't want to contribute to the feedback loop. I don't want to contribute to the comfort zone. I want to put out something that makes you feel huge.
When should I listen to some MISCHO music? Is it driving? Is it when I'm at school? Is it when I'm working?
Well, when you're at school, your teachers might have a problem with you listening to my music, but I encourage it. Yes. I encourage it. But listen to it whenever you want, The
gym? Is it a good gym?
I think it's good gym music. I think it's good traffic music. It's good. Honestly, it's good whenever. It's good whenever to listen to MISCHO music. Come on. Realistically, anytime you're feeling kind of down, if you listen to sad music when you're down, I know people do it, but it's just you're gonna feel comfortable because you know that someone else is feeling that. And I get that, but I'm not interested in that. When I feel like shit, I want to feel better. Yeah. And so if you're feeling down and you want to be a little motivated, that's when you should throw on some MISCHO music. If you want to feel inspired, if you want to feel like there is someone who understands where you're at, but also understands that you want to be somewhere else, that's what you got to do with the MISCHO music. It's supposed to make you...
It's perfect for summer.
Perfect for summer. It's summer music. And in the dead of winter, when it's freezing as hell, listen to MISCHO music too. It'll motivate you to get the fuck out of there.
Absolutely.
You know?
Cool.
So what else? What else you want to talk about, Lucky?
Well, so is there a video coming out for Down For You?
Yes. Okay, so Down For You video, I'm very excited about because I've been putting out lyric videos with these animations that really don't move too much, but it's been a good way for me to produce videos at a steady rate, right? Because I can't make a video every month. Or maybe I can, but it gets very expensive. So Down For You, back with Stephen Ward. You might know. You might know Stephen Ward, who directed What the Hell Am I Doing Here? Come Around Back to You, Photon Love, I Can't Wait,
and we're gonna
Boom Boom Boom. Yeah.
Blur that out.
Yeah, but Boom 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 was axed by the Venga Boys publishing company. Axed that. But long story short, Steven really gets me. I'm pointing at him because he's right there, right? Yeah. And we're doing a video. We're doing a fun video that's mixing the animated sci-fi world of like UFOs and thunderbolts and like comic book heroism with the real world, because I was hiding behind the animations, and then I realized that every great brand has a face. Tesla wouldn't be Tesla without Elon. Apple wouldn't be Apple without Steve. And the Galactic Federation of Time Travelers wouldn't be the Galactic Federation of Time Travelers without MISCHO.
Absolutely.
And that's when I realized, you know what, it's time to step out. It's time to put my face out there and just hammer it and just go, go, go. And so I'm excited to just talk to people. Like I told you, you're my agent. Get me on as many podcasts as possible, mindfulness podcasts, whatever podcasts I'm going on, and I just want to shoot the shit. Because as the album comes out and I want to promote it, this is relatable stuff for everybody. Everyone can relate to it. And when it comes to music, my strategy is, we were talking about the Down For You video, but this is just where it goes.
Yeah.
When it comes to the strategy, everybody listens to music. But what's going to get people to choose my music is they've got to know the person. And if I can entertain them or inspire them or whatever, then they're more likely to listen to my tunes. And if they're listening to the tunes, they're powering themselves up. If they're powering themselves up, they're, let's say, healthier, more motivated in their household. They're inspiring other people. And it's just this chain reaction that can go on and on. So that's why it's like, I need to do this because it's contributing to the, our rise into the next.
I love it. Very mission driven.
Yeah, well, it's completely the mission, because the mission is so important, because if I don't have that mission, I don't have this driving force. If there's no mission, it's just like, oh, listen to me because I'm awesome. It's like, no, I'm trying to accomplish something that I think everyone can benefit from.
Very cool.
Yeah. And so the video is going to be hype. It's got lightning and UFOs and thunderbolts inspired by like the Thor Love and Thunder artwork.
You're inspired more about movies, it seems, than like music, correct?
Yeah, visually, music doesn't really...
No, I mean in your music, like there's a lot of like, because you watch a lot of movies.
Yeah, I love cinema.
Yeah.
I love cinema. Yeah. I love interesting visuals, and yeah, I'm. Well, do you think in the music?
Yeah, I think in the music as well. There's a lot of
like scores. I've always loved like scores, and I always love using like rich textures and like synth, what's it called, orchestral stuff and strings and all kinds of weird things. Often inspired by cinema. A new song that I'm working on called Dream a Little More has a very Danny Elfman Scissorhands feel to it. And I've just always loved that stuff. I love that a movie is nothing without the soul, which is the music for me. Awesome. And so it's like soundtrack music almost.
So a lot of kind of, since you've committed, in the past couple of weeks or months, a big thing that you're saying is you want to show the journey in terms of you getting there, correct?
Exactly. I'm not interested in the fake it till you make it, because I don't believe in it. And so other people can do it. If they believe that's the right strategy, go for it. But I just can't do it because I'm the worst liar. And I've always been super transparent. I've always been transparent about like my business or what I've learned from it or my downfalls. And if I can just share the fact that, I'm building and I want to The only way that this is really going to grow is if I focus on the fans.
Yeah.
If I focus on the time travelers. So I keep mentioning the Galactic Federation of Time Travelers because if I can provide them with a constant awesomeness, whether it's, I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but if I can focus on them and provide them with value and inspiration on a consistent basis and give them as many tools that I have, then I know it's going to go a long way. And that's where the focus has to be. It doesn't have to be on like, look how successful I am. It's how have I impacted you? And when it comes to the 1,000 true fans, you find your 1,000 true fans, and they're your sales force. You don't need a marketing budget. You know what Tesla's marketing budget is? It's nothing. Why? Because Elon is the driving force, and he creates the super fans. And the fans of Tesla spread the word. They spread the gospel. And that's just what my strategy is.
Love it. So super excited for Down For You, for the album. It's going to be good vibes.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you'll be very successful and you'll have fun going on this journey.
Well, that's it. If I'm going to do something, I might as well do something that I'm having fun with. I might as well do something that I love with people that I love. And so you're actually a big part of that, Mr. Trinhception, because you're taking the active role as my agent. And I think that's the best thing in the world or in the galaxy, because you have a skill set and a perspective that is completely different than mine. And, we were put together on this planet. We met each other in 7th grade.
Yeah.
And you have this ability to gamify and create quick wins and keep people motivated and excited and sell the shit out of anything. That I think it'll be a partnership that will be regarded as one of the legendary ones.
Absolutely.
Because you're inspired by sports, by agents, by like
everything, video games, just people, same thing. But yeah, as long as we can play our part in raising vibes, I think we're good to go. I
think that in a world where people are sad and there's doom and gloom, I think there's tremendous opportunity to just bring light. And that's a massive, massive target market. And I think that's why this is going to do so well, because we're boldly saying that. Like, it might not be cool to be super positive, might get haters because it's like it's too happy or too this, and that's fine. It's not for everybody. But like Nickelback or Imagine Dragons, the more haters, the more concert tickets sold.
Yeah.
So bring it on. But we're trying to do something pure here. I'm trying to do something pure, and you get it, and you know how to communicate it in the commercial way, in a way that I don't know how.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't want to focus it on. So I think a big problem with what I was doing is I was trying to do too many things within the, time travel organization. Yeah. And it didn't allow me to really move forward. Now it's like, no, I'm the artist. You create the opportunities. We're going to have a nice life.
I love it. And maybe for the fans, kind of estimated timeline on this album, because it's a real banger. So
so estimated timeline, Down For You is going to come out at the end of next week. Putting the pressure on Steven. Down For You will be out in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then Magic will be the next single. And then the album will be released probably end of summer.
Love it.
Yeah, end of summer 2022, the time travel, whatever album it's called. I don't know what the title is yet. And so I think you're really going to love it, fellow time travelers. It's just a blast from start to finish. Obviously, you have to have a little slowdown. It can't be all hammers, but it'll be good.
Nice.
I'm really excited to just put it out there and talk to people about it and set up shows, and who knows.
Cool. So we'll launch it, and we'll do another one of these.
Absolutely. I loved it. Thanks, Lockie. Thank you, Galactic Federation of Time Travelers. We'll see you next time.